Happy holidays. I mean, I'll tell you what, we definitely did not get delivered any sort of Christmas present or any sort of like gift or anything this holiday season. No, Brandon and I guess we got some lumps of coal. Man, what is up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And man, oh man, was it ugly for us in the NFL, which was week number 16. Oh man, me taking a brutal loss. And Brandon, I mean, it was the chance to make the ultimate statement, and the goddamn Ratbirds. The damn Ratbirds. We got a lot to talk about. Without further ado, let's start the show. Welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It is time to talk about the NFL, which, I mean, NFL week number 16, it is rolling along. I mean, I felt like yesterday we were at like week number 3, number 4. Now we're at week 16. We only have 2 more weeks to go. The season's basically over at this point. It's crazy. We're here to talk about NFL week number 16. Hi, how's it going? I am Jacob Cutler, one half of the Sports Guys. And as always, joining me to break down the action, to review the action, he's my co-host. He's one of my best friends. He is none other than the other half of the Sports Guys, which is Mr. Brandon Sullivan. Brandon, how you doing? How's everything going? It could have been a tough weekend for you. Good thing for the Celtics, I will say.
Yeah, tough. It's just one of those, one of those games where you don't have a lot of, you have a lot of questions and not a lot of answers. So, how about you, Jake?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. It was a good holiday. It was a good holiday season. Did you have a good little holiday break there? How long were you off for? 3 days?
3 days, yeah. Okay. Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Okay, so that had to be a little nice.
To be able to just kind of kick back and, during this time, I always feel like, like during Christmas, like the couple days leading up to Christmas and then the days after Christmas, I kind of take it upon myself to do absolutely nothing because, when you start the new year, you start that a lot of people start they kind of start a new eating routine or workout routine or, start a new hobby or whatever it may be. So I kind of just do nothing at the end of the year.
Yeah, no, not you.
Myself that grace. And then to start the year, I kind of, I want to. I think in this coming year, I want to try to read a lot more. That's my goal because, I did it a lot when I was younger, and I felt like it was beneficial. So that's just a goal of mine to have because I have probably 30 or 40 books that I haven't read and they're just sitting there. So I just want to read those books that have been given to me or whatever. So that's just kind of one thing, but I just feel like leading up to that first day, this week, I am just eating what I want, doing what I want. And it was nice to be able to do that over an entire weekend.
Do you have a book in mind that you're going to read first?
Yeah, there's a book called it's the 48 Laws of Power. It was a book that was given to me, and so it just talks about there's a bunch of different examples throughout history of time where there's one where it's never undermine your boss or never try to outshine your leader, and there's a law about that. There was a person who was in Egyptian royalty or somewhere in the past where they were trying to. And they ended up getting killed. So there's just some interesting links to history that are linked to these laws. So it's a really big book, and I'm I got to be dedicated to read it. but I also have a Kindle too. So I'm gonna start browsing to kind of see, you know, some of those books, you know, that would be good to kind of purchase on there.
I like it. Yeah, that's a good definite New Year's resolution. I think, yeah, 2024. I think definitely going to focus on health and fitness. Get back, down, lose some poundage. Get back healthy.
The routine with gym.
Yeah, get back in the routine. Probably get back to golfing. Get that routine going. So yeah, a lot of focus on self-care. 2024. I think that's the resolution that I'm going with.
I love it, Jake. Awesome. I'm happy for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a good year.
It's going to be a good year.
It's going to be a good year, my friend. It's going to be a good year. So, before we get into it, let's quickly remind them how we did last week. Let's put it up on the screen. For yourself, 7-9. It was an off week. That's okay. 1-0 on your guaranteed victory. The Buffalo Bills having a scare there on Saturday. I mean, man, oh man, but able to get the job done. For myself, 9-7, 0-1 on my guaranteed victory. San Francisco 49ers, unfortunately, were not able to get the job done. They're at home against the Ratbirds. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Overall, for the season, that puts us at, for yourself, 152-88, 13-3 on your guaranteed victories. For myself, 141-99, 11-5 on my guaranteed victories. And then for our special guests, 52-38, 3-3 on their guaranteed victories. And we will have the special guests for you throughout the playoffs. Each round will have a special guest joining us for the week, so it'll be very exciting to get them back involved. We can't wait for that. Yeah. Let's wipe those off the screen. All right, my friend. I will. I'm going to pass the ball over to you. I'll let you decide. You want to talk about, what do you want to talk about first? The good, the bad, or the ugly?
Yeah, we could talk about some of the good that we saw.
Okay, it's the holiday. It's the holiday season. I like your holiday spirit. Yeah, hit me with some good. What good did you see from Week 16?
Yeah, Atlanta having a surprisingly good performance. I definitely did not see them beating the Colts. I thought maybe it would be closer, but obviously, a 29-10 victory over the Colts, and kudos to Atlanta for staying in the playoff and staying in that, obviously in the race for that division. So I thought they I only got to see a couple of the highlights, but they look pretty good in that game. And obviously Detroit, good defense, going to Minnesota, it's I was there earlier this year. It's not an easy place to win, and Detroit, it's divisional opponent. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It's gonna be a close game typically. And Detroit kind of really put the Nick Mullins, I know he threw for over 400 yards, but he had a few picks there, and so that changed the landscape of the game. So Detroit, loving what I'm seeing from Detroit this year. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Detroit. I think that they have the potential to look good in the playoffs. I do think that they have a chance to make some noise in the playoffs. Super excited for the Detroit Lions and their fans. That's been a team that has just been kind of outcasted for pretty much you and I. I mean, we're pretty much the same age our whole lives. So
forever, bro.
Yeah, forever. New York Jets continuing their winning ways. Just kind of winning a couple games, and they're kind of the team that
Jets.
They're able to win. So Breece Hall had a big game.
Out of nowhere, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So just a shout out to Breece Hall, great performance. Breece is, I have him on fantasy. It doesn't matter anymore, but as far as Tampa Bay looking solid, Tampa Bay,
definitely.
They definitely could win a playoff game. This is what this tells me is, I don't foresee them as a Super Bowl favorite or like contender, but the way they've been playing, Baker's been playing pretty good. So
I'm gonna hit you with something. Something. No, keep going, but I'm gonna hit you with something here.
But Baker has been playing well. 30-12 victory for Baker. And then Miami, needing to assemble manufacturer drive at the end of the game,
able to get it done.
Tua driving them down the field, getting them down, kicking with a walk-off field goal to beat the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have dropped 2 straight. And then last but not least, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Massive victory.
A mind-blowing performance. I believe it was the first time in NFL history that there was no completion from the winning team after the first quarter.
I heard that.
Impressive game by Zamir White. Just running the ball all over them, and then obviously game ball goes to the defense. Pick 6 from the new corner that they got there. I don't know.
Jack Jones. Jack Jones from the Patriots, waived by the Patriots. I'll be honest, McDaniel signing, one good positive thing he may have done to leave the team, but yeah, Jack Jones.
Jack Jones. So Raiders defense really stout, playing really well, coming out with a shocking win to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City.
Yeah.
The dog.
Yeah, an absolute shocking win there for Kansas City. Yeah, like the Raiders for Kansas City. Let me make sure. I'm pretty sure. Here we go. Hang on. Yeah, Jack Jones. Just want to make sure we give him the proper shout out.
Jackie.
Dude, I'll be honest, with 2 beautiful pick 6s, the one-handed one against the Chargers in the 63-21 absolute domination was beautiful, and then him reading the route and then him just taking it to the house. So Jack Jones definitely. Let's be honest, the Raiders shocking everybody, getting their first victory in the Chiefs in I think 4 or 5 years, so a very long time. Massive victory. Chiefs can no longer secure the number 1 seed, which means that Patrick Mahomes will, for the first time in his career, play a road playoff game. And
Maybe, because let's say Baltimore gets it and they lose.
Well, that's true.
They lose that game after the bye.
You're right.
Lose the divisional round.
You're right. You're right.
Maybe.
You are very right.
Because that happened. The reason why I say that is that happened in 2020 when they went to the Super Bowl. The Ravens had the number 1 seed with 14-2, and they lost to the Titans. And the Titans then traveled to Kansas City. Kansas City was the number 2 seed. So I'm just saying it's still
true. I guess. Okay. He'll play at least 1 road playoff game. Okay. Maybe. He'll play at least. Maybe. He's still. I don't see them. They'll win the division. Let's say that they can't get 1 through 3.
Yeah.
So,
I see where you're going with it.
Yeah. So
potentially 1.
Potentially 1 road game. But yeah, you're right. If like one of the upper seeds does lose, they could potentially sneak into a home game. That would be pretty crazy. But
the Rams hosted the NFC Championship game at home, and they were the 4 seed. That was when we played them.
That's true. And yeah, exactly. So
1. Maybe
anything can happen. Anything can happen, but maybe
still
just
got to
one.
do it though.
Still got to do it. Long way we got 2 more weeks. We'll see what happens. What I was bringing up while you were giving your points was, like you mentioned, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield. You brought up Baker Mayfield, and Lamar Jackson's getting all the hype for MVP. Well, let me just throw a little bit of stats at you, and then we can kind of talk about who might be the real MVP of the NFL. Lamar Jackson currently 289, 436, 3,357 yards. Okay, he's killing it. That's a lot of yards. I'll give it to him. Currently sitting. Let's see here. Where'd it go? It's 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. It's okay. Let me throw a little bit of a Tampa Baker field at you. Tampa Baker. We got Baker Mayfield with 3,598 yards, so 200 more yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and he currently has the lead in the division for the NFC South. So, I mean, people can say that Lamar Jackson won the MVP all they want in that game, but I mean, what are we really watching then? Because to me, Baker Mayfield has better stats. So then Baker Mayfield would be more valuable than Lamar Jackson. So I don't think it's so much that Lamar Jackson solidified himself as the MVP. I think he's had a lot of help, just like Baker Mayfield has had a lot of help. So if you're going to be going out crowning MVPs because after one game, yeah, sure, they beat the Niners. Yeah, it was a good performance. But I'm looking around the league and I still see other more valuable players to their teams than Lamar Jackson. No slight to Lamar Jackson, but
yeah,
what I'm looking at is I'm looking at a guy in Tampa Bay
who has the best defense in the NFL. The Ravens have the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah, the Ravens have one of the best defenses in the NFL.
It's the best. It's number one ranked.
Okay, number one ranked defense in the NFL. But then you look at a guy like Baker Mayfield who has better stats and is doing slightly less, but still doing enough to lead. Same thing with Brock Purdy. So I think the MVP conversation, my point with all of that, the MVP conversation is wide open. Who knows who the MVP is going to be at this point? It could very well easily go to Tyreek Hill or Christian McCaffrey. Those two players are very deserving. This could be the first year that it goes to a non-quarterback, and I think that would be completely acceptable.
I think that's what it should be. I think that it should be a non-quarterback this year. I don't think Lamar Jackson is the MVP. I don't think Brock Purdy is the MVP. I think it's Christian McCaffrey or Tyreek Hill. I don't think it's fair at this point because it's like, okay, now we're just like, all right, now let's just pick the quarterback that we believe is doing the best.
Yeah,
Brock Purdy has
almost
he has over 4,000 passing yards. He has almost 30 touchdowns. Yeah. So it's like season's not even over yet.
Season's not even over yet. A lot to be established, a lot to be gained, a lot to be lost. If we're going purely off stats, right? Lamar Jackson is not the MVP. If we're going purely off the eye test, he's certainly leading. He's certainly doing a great job leading his team. It's hilarious how none of these teams in the NFL, they just looked at Lamar Jackson. They were like, nah, we're good with what we got. Are you really? I don't think so. Is he shielded by a great defense? Yes. Does he have much better weapons for a team that looks weaponless? Yes, they have decent receivers. They're not the Chiefs where they have 0 receivers. The Baltimore Ravens have solid receivers. OBJ, solid. Zay Flowers, solid, right? And a couple of their other pieces, they're definitely good. Isaiah Likely as the tight end right now, he's definitely solid. So it's not like they are out there with nothing. So the defense, like you said, definitely the anchor to that team. And that's what you want going into the playoffs. So the Ravens will be a tough out. I will say that. The Ravens this year, with Lamar Jackson being healthy, are going to be a very tough out. And they have a wide open path, honestly, to the Super Bowl, with the Chiefs obviously not looking like the Chiefs, looking very beatable. If Patrick Mahomes is able to lead this team anywhere in the playoffs, it would be a miracle. But yeah, I think the Ravens have a wide open shot. Lamar Jackson definitely had a solid performance, but I think that MVP conversation is still wide open because, yeah, you have guys like Baker Mayfield balling out, absolutely balling out. So it's funny. You have guys like Brock Purdy absolutely balling out. You have guys like Tyreek Hill, almost at $1,000 or at 2,000 receiving yards. You have Puka Nacua, who is right behind him. He is literally right behind Tyreek Hill in the yardage per season, or for the total yards for the season. So you have plenty of guys who could be in that MVP conversation. You got to play the entire season this year. This year is going to come down to the wire. This year is very competitive. The playoff hunt is very competitive. 1, 2, 3 seeds in these playoff races are going to be competitive. Wild card seeds are going to be very competitive. So it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, The Rams getting a massive win on Thursday, kicking us off, right? The Steelers, obviously, that kind of sucked, right? On Saturday, that was kind of blue. The Bills, somehow surviving, right? Josh Allen, you could very well be the MVP. He definitely is the most valuable player on that team. If Josh Allen's not there, the Bills are garbage. So, Josh Allen definitely keeping his team, staking his claim to get into the playoffs, right? Hanging in there, right? The Falcons, you said it. The most consistently inconsistent team I've ever seen in my life. You have no idea what the Atlanta Falcons are going to do week in and week out. They could lose by 1,000 points. They could also win by 1,000 points. Makes no sense. Seahawks getting a playoff saving victory there in Tennessee. The Lions, first time in my life, clinching a playoff spot. 30 years. I've never seen it in my life. So Jared Goff's never seen it in his life. You were like 2 years old. So, you really never seen it in your life. Yeah. So, wild that the Detroit Lions are the NFC North division champions. They will, they're going to be a force. They're going to be a force in the playoffs. Jets almost blowing a 20-0 lead, which would have been hilarious. Didn't happen. Jets get the job done. Packers, come on, man. That's not even good. Browns, Joe Flacco. Your guy, Joe Legend Flacco, coming off the couch, keeping the Cleveland Browns somehow, some way have a chance at the number 1 seed, have a chance at the AFC North division. If you would have told me that would happen at the beginning of the year, I would have not been buying that. Bucks, Baker Mayfield, statement victory against the Jags, hilarious. Bears get the job done. Patriots. Wow. Patriots just wow. And then the Eagles. Basically ending Tommy DeVito's run as the Italian Stallion there with the New York Giants. What bad, ugly you got for me?
Yeah. There wasn't like too much that stood out. I think that Cincinnati, that was a rough, that was a bad game for them. I'm not going to overreact to that one, but it's a divisional opponent. Pittsburgh always plays their opponents tough.
You could say it was ugly. It was ugly.
Came through for you. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was there. So, gave you a little Christmas Kringle treat, just so that you can take that with you to your bed and lay down with it. But
freaking Mason Rudolph, dude.
Yeah, that freaking guy. Obviously Houston, I don't know. We have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. They're pretty much done. Maybe next year. It's unfortunate, D'Amico Ryans, Robert Saleh, 2 rough seasons for them. As far as that goes, but primarily the ugly I want to talk about is the 49ers. Just an embarrassing performance. It's on top of the fact that they didn't perform well. Every single thing that could go right for the Ravens was going right.
Yep.
Aside from the safety at the beginning. As soon as that pick happened with Brock Purdy over the middle, just timing it a little bit too late. The tip balls were perfect. The penalty flags were just completely all against the Niners. Every single thing that literally, I haven't seen a game like that in a while where like everything that could go wrong was going wrong. Trent Williams went out of the game. Jair Brown, our backup safety to Talanoa Hufanga, went out of the game. 2 linemen. We had to bring a lineman I never even seen before. A penalty on our punter for hitting somebody out of bounds. Short fields for Lamar. Did he really prove anything in that game besides the good run? I'm just saying, he had the best field position on every single I mean, it's not his fault, but I'm just saying he had the best field position on every single drive. And so, I don't know, just I am like baffled. But I'm glad it happened now and not in the playoffs, because
there you go.
You were asking to win Brock Purdy the next 10 games in a row. Now he just has to win the next 5 in a row. And we've done that twice this season. You know, it's a lot of pressure when you're having to continue a win streak. That's just the way it works with mentality. When are we going to lose? That's what starts going through your head.
Yeah.
We've won 9 in a row. When are we going to lose? When you lose one, it kind of resets that. And you're like, okay, if you win 2 or 3 in a row, you're like, okay, we've done this before multiple times. This is going to be fine. So the way that football works, in my opinion, and this is the way that as I've gotten older, as I've observed it, is literally anything can happen. So people saying that the Niners versus the Ravens is a foregone conclusion need to stop, because this is not basketball where you have 7 chances. This is, you get one time. If you come out, we could play the Ravens again, and they could absolutely get destroyed by us.
Yeah.
We could play them again, and it could be a close game, or they could destroy. We don't know. And that's the thing about football is, if you have an off night, you're going to have an off night, and that's the way it is. So just, you know, Brock Purdy got this out of his system. I expect the way that he handled the presser was very, very mature. You know, he said, you know, I some of those mistakes were very dumb of me. They were very dumb of me. Never saw that from Alex Smith. Never saw that from Colin Kaepernick. Never saw that from Jimmy Garoppolo. He said, I have to look myself in the mirror and ask, what do I want to be? What do I want to do here? And I let my teammates down, and that's not fair to them. It's just showing a lot of maturity, you know? And today is his birthday. He's 24 years old today, December 27th. So,
happy birthday, Brock.
Hopefully new restart for him.
Yeah.
But hey, this was just a wild game. I think that people are extremely overreacting. That's what I think. Like, now the Niners aren't winning the Super Bowl. Now Brock Purdy's career is done.
Yeah.
You got Micah Parsons and Cam Newton saying all this stuff now that it's over. And the thing that I don't understand personally, why the hate for Brock Purdy, a guy who is the last pick in the draft. He's very humble. He's not a showboat. He changed Iowa State's program. He made it watchable. He tore his UCL and had to work hard to come back. He was the last pick in the draft. I don't understand the hate for this guy. I really don't understand why people are sitting in the shadows hoping he fails.
Yeah. People want clout. That's why. Yeah, I mean, all good points. I mean, yeah, it was definitely a disappointing night, I guess I should say, for Niners fans and I guess for NFL fans, because you want a more competitive game. But yeah, definitely for Niners fans, it definitely was a disappointing way to end the week for us, because I was rooting hard for the Niners there. Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs. I mean, what is going on? The power of Taylor Swift seems to have run out, or it is not working at all, because, yeah, the Chiefs do not look like the Chiefs. This is definitely by far the worst looking offensively the Chiefs have looked, I think, since Patrick Mahomes has got there in Kansas City. They have 0 weapons on offense outside of Travis Kelce, who right now is developing the case of the drops, and Isaiah Pacheco, who can't stay healthy, or who's getting injured. I guess he can't stay healthy, but he keeps getting injured. So, I mean, yeah, everything that could have gone wrong in that Chiefs game definitely went wrong. I mean, the back-to-back defensive scores, right, with the pick six and then the scoop and score, not much more could go wrong there. So happening twice in 1 week, which I've never seen before, with the Denver Broncos also basically giving up a touchdown to the Patriot offense, and then immediately on the ensuing kickoff, fumbling the ball and giving the Patriots an immediate score, back-to-back score in 8 seconds. And then we have a scumbag alert. Yeah, scumbag alert. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. This week's scumbag alert is Sean Payton. Yeah, who has the audacity I don't love the man, but I certainly respect the heart and grit and the fight that he has given the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos have benched. Sean Payton has benched Russell Wilson for Jarrett Stidham in these upcoming games. Russell Wilson seems to be done there in Denver. Possibly Denver looks to have a way out of that contract by benching Russell Wilson. That cost him an extra $37 million. Obviously not money that he needs, but still Sean Payton then having the audacity to basically just say, what am I going to do? Replace, get 5 new linemen or get 5 new receivers? I guess he forgot the 5-game winning streak. So not really understanding the move there by Sean Payton. Definitely a low blow to Russell Wilson. Denver Broncos, I think, seems to be folding up shop, calling it a day. We'll see what happens in the coming week. Jarrett Stidham, we'll see what you got. But definitely scumbag move by Sean Payton. And then, the Bengals, I mean, definitely just an overall terrible performance. Did not show up at all to play that game. Was not ready. Second play of the game, you're allowing an 86-yard touchdown to freaking George Pickens, who literally does nothing the entire year, and then has the game of his life against you. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. We consistently keep getting injuries. I mean, yeah. Oh man, it's gonna be rough. I mean, they are taking on a definitely a not as strong Chiefs team next week, but we'll see what happens with the Cincinnati Bengals. They too could also be folding up shop for the playoffs. The Dallas Cowboys. I mean, that was a hell of a game. I was rooting for the Dolphins, but the Dallas Cowboys need to figure it out and figure it out quickly, because this season could quickly be running off the rails here if they're not able to pull it together, because now they have another tough opponent in week 17 coming off. This wouldn't be back. Is this back-to-back losses?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Back-to-back losses heading into week 17, heading into the Detroit Lions, another tough opponent, riding high on that division victory. The Dallas Cowboys could be in trouble here. Dallas Cowboys could definitely be getting exposed very, very quickly in a very short time. And then, actually, I forgot some good. I do want to give a shout out to the Carolina Panthers. Fought hard in that game against the Packers, competed until the end. Bryce Young definitely showed flashes finally of being a somewhat viable quarterback. Don't know if it was the coaching, don't know if it was just the Packers being the Packers, but switch it to the good real fast. Shout out to the Carolina Panthers having some heart and fighting in that game, because other than that performance, they've looked like absolute crap. But other than that, rough week for the Niners, rough week for the Bengals. Niners, I am positive, will bounce back. Bengals, we'll see what happens. I think that's going to do it. Yeah, that is going to do it. That's going to do it for you out there. Brandon, any last words for the people?
Oh, just hoping that both of us can bounce back next week.
I like it. Keep it short and simple, right? I completely agree. I hope we can bounce back next week. I hope we get the job done. Big games for us next week. We're going to talk about it on our picks episode. I am one half of the Sports Guys. I am Jacob Cutler. He is the other half of the Sports Guys. He is Mr. Brandon Sullivan. And together, we are the Sports Guys. And until our picks episode, Brandon and Jake, we're out.